This is 7.4, lesson 1. So what we're going to be doing in this lesson is we're going to start to find volume of objects. And so today specifically we're going to be looking at volumes of cones and pyramids. So the first question we ask ourselves is, what is volume? And volume is the number of cubic units that it takes to fill an object. So when we think about some of the shapes that we have learned previously, to find the volume of a cylinder or a prism, so we have a cylinder here and then a rectangular prism over here. To find the volume of those was that we found the number of cubes that fit on the base, which is called our area of the base. Okay, so our base is right here. And then we multiply that by the number of layers, which is our height. Okay, so in order to find a cylinder or a rectangular prism, we found the area of the base and then we multiplied by the height. So what we're going to be doing today is very similar. So we're going to be looking at cones and pyramids. Now, a cone is a third of a cylinder, meaning that it takes 3 cones to equal 1 cylinder. Okay, and the same thing with pyramids. It takes 3 pyramids to equal 1 rectangular prism. So since it takes 3 of each of these, what we're going to do for our formula is actually to do 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. Okay, and it's often going to look like this: B equals 1/3 with a capital B. Capital B means area of the base. This is different than what we did before whenever a little b was like the base of a triangle, okay, or the base of a rectangle. Okay, a capital B is we're talking about the area of the base. Okay, so make sure, if you haven't already, you need to take out your formula cards or your formula papers, because I'm going to refer to them multiple times and show you where things are on here. So the first thing I want to show you is where your volume formulas are. So if we look right here, we see volume, and then we have a prism and a cylinder. That was the first things I talked about, where we found the area of the base times the height. And it tells you this below. It says, note, the volume of all prisms and cylinders is V equals BH, where B is the area of the base and H is the height of the prism or cylinder. So if you forget what that capital B means, it tells it below you. But then what we're going to be focused on today is cones and pyramids. And so again, we have this formula: V equals 1/3 capital B H. So again, it tells you below that B is the area of the base. Okay? So the first thing we're going to look at here is a cone. Okay? So we're going to rewrite our formula. We know V equals 1/3 capital B H. Now, capital B means we need to find the area of our base. And we see that our base is a circle, which means that I need to find the area of a circle. So we're going to come back to our formula sheets, and we have area, and we're going to go to circle. And we see that the area of a circle is pi r squared. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace our capital B with the formula for the area of a circle. So we're going to do 1/3 parentheses pi r squared times our height. Okay, so all we're doing is just replacing in that formula what the area of our base is. And I apologize, it should be 1/3. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to plug in what we know. So we have 1/3. We leave pi as pi, and I'll explain that here in just a minute. Our radius we know is 2. So we're going to plug in 2, then we square it. Then times our height is 8. Okay, so this means I'm going to do 1/3 times, now I'm going to write this, we know 2 squared is 4, times pi is just 4 pi, times 8. Okay, now the way we're going to look at this on our calculator, or how to compute it, is we're going to multiply all of our regular numbers. So we're going to do 1/3 times 4 times 8. Okay, so on my calculator I'm going to do 1/3 times 4 times 8. And that gives me 10 2/3. So 10 2/3. Now I still have a pi, so I'm going to put pi behind it. And then I have my units is inches, and when we're talking about volume, it's cubed. Okay? Now this answer is in terms of pi. So if I ask you on your homework to leave your answer in terms of pi, this is what I'm looking for. Now, if I ask you to approximate it, that means we're going to plug in 3.14 for pi. So I'm going to take my 10 2/3 and multiply by 3.14. This is what I see what I get. And we're going to approximate to the nearest hundredths place. So we're going to say this is 33.49 inches cubed. So again, this is our approximate, where we're going to say pi is equal to 3.14. Okay, so on your homework, I'm going to ask for both of those answers. So make sure the first time you leave it in terms of pi, and then the second time go ahead and multiply by 3.14. Okay, so part B is also a cone, so we're going to use that same formula again. V equals 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. And again, since we're dealing with a cone with a circular volume, we're going to replace our capital B with pi r squared, and then still times our height. Now what I want you to notice here is that 13 is our diameter, it's not our radius. And we have to fill in radius into our formula here. So we have to do 13 divided by 2, which is going to give us a radius of 6.5. So that's what we're going to use for r. So we have 1/3 times pi times 6.5 squared times our height is 9 inches. Okay, so again, we can go ahead and simplify this just a little bit. We have 1/3 times, we'll do 6.5 squared, gives us 42.25, and then we still have a pi, and then times 9. So just like before, we're going to go ahead and multiply regular numbers. 1/3 times 42.25 times 9. And whenever we do that, we're going to get 126.75. Now remember, this is an exact answer, so we're going to leave it in terms of pi. We're going to put a pi behind it. And then we have our units as inches cubed. Okay, so again, this is in terms of pi. Now I also want us to go ahead and approximate this. So we're going to do 126.75 times 3.14, and we're going to get about 398.00 inches cubed. And that's our approximate. Okay, again, remember, if I work too fast, you can pause the video at any point. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and flip this over. And we're going to look at another cone here. It's just upside down, but it works the same way. So again, we start with our original formula of V equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. So again, we're going to replace that area of the base. We see that it's a circle. Okay, it's just upside down. So we still have pi r squared h. Okay, so we're going to fill in what we know. We have 1/3 pi. We see our radius is 50. What I want you all to notice is we see that 120 is not our height. 120 is the side of our cone. Our height is this line right here, and we do not have it. However, we can figure it out. Okay, so if we see here, we have a right triangle where we know that this is our hypotenuse, so it's C. 50 can be either A or B, and so we're going to need to plug this into our Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So we're going to plug it in. We have 50 squared plus B squared equals 120 squared. So when you multiply those out, we get 2,500 plus B squared equals 14,440. Then to get B by itself, we have to subtract 2,500 from both sides. Oops, I forgot an extra 0 in there, I apologize. We're going to subtract 2,500 from both sides so that we get b squared equals, let's see here, 11,900. Then we need to take the square root of both sides, so we're going to get b is about 109.09. Now I have to remember b is actually our height. Okay, so we're going to take this number here and we're going to plug it in for our height, 109.09. So whenever we multiply this out, again, we're going to do 1/3 times 50 squared times 109.09. And this is going to give us, when we leave it in terms of pi, we're going to get 90908.33 pi. And again, we're in centimeters, so centimeters cubed. So that's our answer in terms of pi. Now remember, to get our approximate, we're going to take 3.14 in place of 5. So we're going to do 90,908.33 times 3.14. That's going to give us 285,452.16 centimeters cubed as our approximate. So again, on your homework, I'm going to ask for both of these answers. So now we're going to switch our volume from cylinders to pyramids. I'm sorry, from cones to pyramids. So again, our pyramids have the exact same formula. We can even see that on here. Cones and pyramids have the same original formula. So we still start with V equals 1/3 area of the base times height. The only thing that's different this time is our base is now a square. Okay, so we're going to replace our B with the formula for the area of a square, which we know is s squared, times our height. So we're going to fill in what we know. We have 1/3 times, we see that we have 16 here is the side of our square for our base. So we have 16 squared times our height. Now you have to be careful this time, because now we're talking about height of the pyramid, not height of the triangles the same way we were in surface area. So the height of our pyramid is 15. So whenever we multiply these out, this time we don't have a pi, so we're going to get exact answers every time. And it's 1,280 inches cubed. Part E, again we have a pyramid, so we can use our same formulas. We start off with V equals 1/3 area of the base times height. We see this time though that we have a rectangle as our base. So for the area of the base, we're going to put length times width and then times height. So we're going to fill in what we know. We have 1/3, and then now we're looking at our base, and our base has a length of 6 and a width of 4. So this is 6 times 4, and then times our height, and it's the height of our pyramid, which is 8. Whenever we multiply all this out, we're going to get 64, and then we don't know what our units are, so we can just put units cubed. Again, just like the last unit, please circle or box your answers. That way I can tell where your answers are within all this work. Okay, letter F is again a square. We saw this one earlier with surface area. So again, we start with our same formula. Volume equals 1/3 area of the base times height. Since we're dealing with a square, our area of the base is going to use the formula s squared times the height. So we're filling what we know. We have 1/3. The side of our square is 14, so we have 14 squared times our height is 24. And when we multiply all this out, we get 1,568, and we don't have units listed, so we're going to put units cubed. Letter G. So this time I want you to notice that we have a triangular base. Okay, so we're dealing with a triangular pyramid. But again, we still start with that same formula. Volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. We just have to pay attention. The area of our base this time is 1/2 base times height, and then times our height of our pyramid. So we're going to have to be really careful here as far as what different numbers mean. Okay, now I want us to actually, I'm going to redraw the bottom of this triangle, and I'm going to turn it just a little bit. If you guys notice, it is a right triangle with numbers written like this. So we actually do have the height of our base down here, which is different than the height of the actual pyramid. Okay, so whenever we fill this in, we have 1/3. Then we're going to fill in our formula for the area of a triangle. So 1/2 times our base of our triangle is 8. The height of my triangle is 14. And then I'm going to multiply that by the height of the pyramid, which is 17. So whenever we multiply all these together, we're going to get 317 1/3. And again, we don't have units, so we'll put units cubed. And then our last one. So again, we start with our same formula. V equals 1/3 area of our base times our height. This time we notice our base is a square. So we're going to have 1/3 times s squared times h. So we're going to fill in what we know. We have 1/3 times, we know our side of our square is 10, so that's 10 squared. But I want you to notice, though, that 13 is not the height of the pyramid. 13 is our slant height, which is different, we've talked about before, is different than the height of the pyramid. What we want is this height right here. So again, we can make this triangle the same way we did in surface area. Okay, but this time we're actually given our C. We also know this leg down here, just like with surface area, it's going to be half of the length of our square here, so it's going to be 5. And then we don't know what A is. So we're going to fill in our Pythagorean theorem, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Where we don't know what A is, B is 5, and C is 13. So this is going to be A squared plus 25 equals 169. We'll subtract 25 from both sides. So we get A squared equals 144. And then we'll take the square root of both sides so that we get A equals 12. So again, we have to remember that was just helping us to find the height of our pyramid. So now we need to plug in our height for our pyramid so we can finish out our formula. Whenever we multiply all these out, we get 400 units cubed. Okay. When you're finished with your notes, just make sure you come back to the sub and you pick up your homework for tonight.